Like yourselves was locking in, all my people was locking in, and new people was locking in.
Yeah.
And I was loving it, just loving the vibe, and it gave me something to do because the clubs was closed. I wasn't on radio no more, but I could still do what I do in a better environment because I don't have to travel nowhere. I can make it look, like a nightclub, which is what I wanted. The lights and the background and the music, of course. But then after a few months, I was getting messages more or less on the Saturday. My show was on the Friday night, and people were saying things like, "Oh, Dad, just want to say that your Instagram lives got me through so much things. Like, my mental health was like this, and thank you so much. You don't know what it's doing for us." And I was thinking, this is quite deep.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Family Podcast with your two favorite brothers. My name is Sammy.
My name is Don.
And welcome to the show, everybody. And today, listen, legend in the building,
bro.
That's Vegas.
Yeah. Make some noise.
Oh man, what intro! Thank you, my guys. It's been a while, but I'm loving being here. I'm loving it.
It's been a while, innit? So I know that we did the IG live,
yeah,
which was well received.
Yeah. We did, yeah. Wicked, yeah, man.
We ain't seen each other.
We ain't touched base for a minute,
for a minute.
Yeah. Things been going a bit haywire, but how are you in it? Like,
I'm good.
Let's start there, yeah.
I'm good. I think, this year's definitely started better than last year's started.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Keeping healthy. Trying to keep my head above water in this DJing game and this game of life and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm good. I'm enjoying 2022 so far.
Okay.
Even though it's just started.
Innit?
Yeah. Good start, innit? Good start, yeah. They say start how you think. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it, innit? So, you know what? Where I wanted to start was your IG lives where you were doing the DJing stuff, yeah? Because I think during that time, a lot of people kind of had like mental health issues and stuff like that. So can you just explain to people who would have missed our conversation, like how comes you started that and what you kind of learned doing it?
Yeah, no, good starting point. I tell you what, guys, it's mad because, when the pandemic started, you remember I was doing the clashes with my DJ friends.
I need that.
And I know
Sammy's on that, yeah.
I was doing the clashes and I was loving it. And it was kind of like, I guess the formula was like I was messaging my DJ friends and saying, look, I want to do this thing. I think it would be really good if we go online, almost like wrestling. I want to be the villain. So I'm going to try and hype it up a lot. It will be a real clash.
Yeah.
I won't tell you what I'm going to play. You don't tell me what you're going to play, but I want to really hype it up. And we just do it on a Saturday night. No frills. We just go at each other. And I did the first one with Chris from Entertainment Family. And it went really well. And then I thought, everyone really liked it. And I thought the interaction was good. Because that's all I really wanted was the interaction. But I had never, ever done a live before, ever, on any platform. So it was quite new for me.
Okay.
And also as well, I wasn't really out there on social media like that. Like most people hadn't really seen my face on socials before.
Right,
you know? So I did it. And it went quite nice. So then I did it with another guy, Mr. Wiley Cat, that I used to DJ with years ago. And that went well. And then I thought, okay, this is leading to something. So I contacted Illitech. Like I said, Illitech and me have been friends for years. And because most people at that point knew me from Westside and Illitech was still on Westside.
Right.
We already had the Westside crew involved.
Yeah.
So they invited me onto the breakfast show to talk about it. And I made like a flyer, like a boxing flyer with me versus Illitech on it. And Illitech started making videos saying he's going to do this to Dad. And I said, yes, this is...
Yeah,
so I made my own one.
Yeah.
And it, long story short, it just kind of went from there. And I really enjoyed it. But the only thing that I wouldn't say didn't like, but it was a bit restrictive because it meant two things. It only was as engaging if the person that you're clashing was equally as engaged.
Yeah.
And then also, I didn't really get to play music really, like in the way, like as in a club set. Like if you're coming to a club to see me, you wouldn't see me clash.
Right.
You see me actually play a set.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do that in that type of format. So I thought I could do both, but then I thought I was running out of people to clash because people were saying, some people was turning me down, believe it or not.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, they were saying, not because some people, it got a bit, there's a few people that were being a bit like prima donnas. I was reaching out to them. Some people that were got quite a big name, but we're friends. I said, listen, man, have you seen the clash I'm doing? It's really good. It's engaging. What would you say? Nah, Daz, like, what you paying? Or nah, Daz, because I feel like I don't really want to be seen in that on that kind of platform.
You don't want to get spun. That's the thing.
I'm thinking to myself, it's a bit of fun. I was like, we can stage it where you can win if you want. Like, I'm not bothered about winning and losing. I just make it seem like that because it makes it entertaining. You know, but I mean, look, we're in a pandemic. Like, people are stuck at home and they're enjoying this little bit of banter. That's all it is. It's banter with music as the soundtrack. People weren't feeling it. So I thought, this is getting difficult now. So I thought, again, it was coming down to, I'm back to square one where basically I have to rely on someone else to move forward with an idea.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to do a DJ set online and just, I don't need anyone. I'm just going to do it. But at the time, I was seeing a few DJs do it. And a lot of them, not knocking them, but I found, again, there was no interaction. So some of them would do their Instagram live and you might just see the decks on the table. You wouldn't even really see them. You might see their hands.
Oh, right, yeah.
And that's about it. And I thought
Hand
nothing.
model business.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But then you're seeing a live chat with 20, 30 people in there commenting and saying, but no interaction. And I thought, nah, I don't want to do it.
Because his
like
hands
that.
are too busy.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
DJ stuff.
So I thought, nah, I like the concept, but I don't want to do it. Like, I still want to talk to the people. So long story short, I bought some little devices from Argos. Literally, I think I bought a strobe from Argos that cost me like £10. I bought my little box to get the sounds through Instagram through my set.
Right, yeah.
I had everything else, and then I just positioned my living room in a certain way. Downloaded like a really nice background from YouTube. I had that in the background on my TV.
Yeah.
And I was just away. And I did it, not thinking that it would really get any traction, but I was just like shouting in the living room and just making up noise, playing my tunes, playing house as well, which is quite upbeat.
Yeah,
and I thought,
that's facts.
You know,
it'll
be nice. And then I just kept it going. And then I got to big up a guy called Smoothie from my area. He was locking in. I think I did it for the 4th week, and then he sent it round. It was the days when people were sending their lives round to different people.
Yeah.
And a few DJs were doing lives at the time. But he sent mine round to his network of friends. And literally, I just saw people coming in 10, 14, 22, 32. I was like, what is going on here? So now I had to think about, I've got to step my game up now because people actually are paying attention.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Honestly, guys, Sam and Don, hand on heart, I did not expect to do this longer than maybe a couple weeks. I did it for a whole year.
Yeah.
And people was calling me Mr. Consistency because it became almost like work.
Yeah.
Every Friday night, if I'm not on, sometimes there might be technical difficulties as you do. So if I'm not on at 9 o'clock on the dot, my phone is blowing up. Daz, you on tonight? What's going on? Like, you're late. I'm thinking, I feel like I'm being checked up on by, you know what I mean, a woman or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought people really like this. So I say that to say, Sam, back to your original question. When I was doing it, I took it for granted because I was doing it, loving it, you know, like yourselves was locking in, all my people was locking in, and new people was locking in.
Yeah.
And I was loving it, just loving the vibe. And it gave me something to do because the clubs was closed. I wasn't on radio no more. But I could still do what I do in a better environment because I don't have to travel nowhere. I can make it look, you know, like a nightclub, which is what I wanted. The lights and the background and the music, of course. But then after a few months, I was getting messages more or less on the Saturday. My show was on the Friday night. And people were saying things like, oh, Dad, just want to say that your Instagram lives got me through so much things. Like, you know, my mental health was like this. And thank you so much. You don't know what it's doing for us. And I was thinking, this is quite deep because I did not, maybe I was a bit naive, but I didn't realize what the impact of the pandemic was having on people to that point where there was thanking me for something like that. I was thinking, it's just me, like,
that's
at home, you know what I mean? I didn't feel like I was doing anything special, but then I realized maybe for even my mental health, because I'm actually doing something that I enjoy, laughing and joking. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Could you imagine you didn't have that?
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah, like, what, you know, and I started to, honestly, Sam, I questioned myself. I thought, imagine if I didn't have this. Like, we always talk about the internet and social media in a kind of negative light. Not always, but the last
we
few
just
years,
finished getting. We were slating influencers, innit?
you know what I mean?
Well, I say slating. We were having a balanced discussion, innit, about influencers and their kind of impact on the culture. Right now, and I think we came to the conclusion that it's a very nuanced thing, because influencers, they create communities, and people get to see what it's like when somebody is consistent, when somebody has like a skill or a craft, and they pull it on display for people to see. And we, as creators, sometimes we just think that, like, a lot of the time, it's easy to assume that me and Don are just having a conversation. We're just talking, innit? But to somebody else who's never heard the perspective that we bring, or has never heard a story in the way that one of our guests is able to tell it, that opens up a whole new like world for them. Like, obviously slight hyperbole, but you get to experience something new, and I think sometimes, we do take it for granted because we've done what we've always done. So for you, you've been DJing a long time, and for me and Don, we've been talking together for a long time, and so it does seem mundane, like we're just doing what we're doing. But I think maybe for somebody who's coming across it for the first time, it's different. So.
And it's interesting because someone said to me, I think probably midway through the year that I was doing the live stream, someone said to me, Daz, you're part of the new influencers, like the real influencers. And I thought about it, and I thought, no, I don't really big myself up like that.
Yeah.
But his point was, people like yourselves, the family podcast, are influencing younger people, or if not young or old people, to do similar. So maybe start. I had someone that actually saw the family podcast and asked me, he told me he wanted to start a podcast because he'd seen what you and Don were doing. Man. That's a close friend of mine who's not into social media at all, you know what I mean?
Wow.
And then there's DJs or people who have started DJing and messaged me and said, "Oh, Daz, how do you get playlists together? Do you use iTunes or do you use this?" And I tell them, and they're like, "Oh, thank you so much, because I want to start DJing, but sometimes when I reach out to DJs, they kind of either ignore me or air the message, but you actually responded." I go, "Yeah, why would I not respond?" But I didn't know that I obviously know that some people can be difficult and there's a few egos out there, but because I don't really have no ego like that, I was kind of in my own bubble, if I'm honest. So I'm just doing my thing. When people started to message me and say things like, it's helped me out a lot, and when you shout out my kids, they're all listening.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm thinking, wow, like when you're saying, right, put the kids to bed, it's 10 o'clock now. They're like thinking, oh, mum, do I have to go to bed now? You know what I mean? So all these little things like gimmicks and stuff, I realized really, really, I love the independence of doing it. Some people said to me, when I did my final live stream, I wanted to do it big. So I went to Birmingham. I had a company in Birmingham that were doing, funny enough, live streams from a studio space where they had like the technology and the DJ equipment and the lighting and everything. So that it really made my live stream look like a club. You know what I mean? The camera work set up similar to yourself, Sammy and Don. Cameras on and different angles. I thought, this is amazing. This is what I want to do. Cost me a couple £100. Fair enough, yeah. But when I did it, people were like, "Oh no, that's too much money." I'm like, "Look, man, you got to invest in your craft." And I realized that not everyone has that same passion for their craft. I knew this already, but I just thought during the pandemic, we had time to kind of process and think about how we want to show ourselves, because we don't have the same means. We don't have no nightclub. We don't have, radio if you're on radio, but you can't maybe travel to radio because of certain restrictions. So basically, we're all at home. David Guetta is no different to me now. He can't go to a club in Miami. I can't go to a club in the West End. That's it. It's either IG Live and that's it. So why not take advantage? If I've got to spend a bit of money, I don't mind that, because the amount, if you want to talk about money-wise, the amount that I probably will and have made off the back of my live streams looking like that, I've already paid for that live stream, if I'm honest with you, long time ago. If I'm being honest. But it wasn't about the money. It was more just, I want to give an impact. I want my stuff to look proper, because you know how it goes, guys. You can't be stagnant in entertainment. You know what I mean? Things move on. At the moment, there's this big thing that I see a lot of DJs. Well, I will say that as much as I love DJing, sometimes I look at what happens and what goes on and what people say, and I think to myself, God, what is wrong with people? At the moment, there's DJs who now are complaining because people are using technology in a way where they think it they're kind of cheating the DJ game.
Yeah.
Purists, innit?
You know what I mean?
You get them in every art form. No, this is the way that you're supposed to do it, and that's the way that you prove that you're a proper DJ.
Yeah.
But the times move. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you and Leon get it both in photography.
Yeah, of course.
You know, some people are like, well, no, if you can't capture it the first time, then, you know, or if you're not using a wind-up camera, you know.
You know what I mean?
And it's mad because nobody, you know, when they used to have them hat things in it, and then they poof, and you got to stay there for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Nobody uses that anymore. So what you're doing is you're saying, because I grew up in this way, that's the only thing that I accept. But what about the man who was using that stuff? What would he think of you if he used that logic? And nobody would progress.
That's what I'm saying. Know? Everything evolves. I get it. I'm a purist myself, but also I'm a realist as well. Like, I like to encourage young, fresh people coming through to do their thing. If a certain set of DJs, what DJs, older DJs need to understand is that if a young DJ is using certain technology to get ahead, it's not because they're trying to rub you up the wrong way. It's because they were not born in an era that we had vinyl, Technics 1210s. Even maybe some of them are young enough to not even have used CDJs. So they don't literally know any better.
Yeah.
Where are we going to start to draw the line in DJ? Because I think to myself, DJing is the only art form where people hate growth. That's what I've realized. It's the one, I might be wrong on this, but it seems like when I see and hear some of the things that DJs say, it's almost like they feel like by rubbishing another DJ for however way they do it is going to somehow propel them to the top. It's like, if I love it, because at the end of the day, what are we going to say next? If someone's been cooking for 50 years, if they use the microwave because they're tired after work, then they can't cook. Or, you know what I mean? Or if someone is past their test in automatic and everyone else drives manual, then they can't drive because they now drive automatic. Where are we going to draw the line? Or if I use my iPhone and I'm not using one of them big phones that my gran used to use, where you got to wait 10 seconds before the number dials with that big ring, that I don't know how to use a phone because I use an iPhone now where I can just go do.
Yeah.
Where do we draw? But DJing is the one, honestly, some of the things, as much as I love DJing and I would like to think that I get on with everyone that I know and even some that I don't. But one thing we need to move on, DJs, please, and we'll look in the camera, please, I beg, we need to move on from this kind of attacking other DJs for the choices they make in terms of how they want to get their art across. Whether it's using controllers, whether it's using a sync button or whatever it is, I honestly don't care because I've got other things to think about. I'm happy that people want to use their talent or their skills or the way they approach a particular art to enhance. That's what they're trying to do. But sometimes, you know, I don't know, I don't see it nowhere else.
Yeah, I've seen it in the DJing community.
You know
like
what I mean?
When I used to do a lot of photography for like raves and stuff like that. Like, oh, he's not a proper DJ. Look at him, he just tap that button. Like, he's always syncing. Like, why don't you mix the track, scratch it properly, and then you see the way that I do it, and you're just like, what?
You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Don't get me wrong, but clearly the manufacturers created that technology for a reason, and it's selling like the bucket loads. So I might. Oh, okay, I'm a purist. I'm from the vinyl age, so I am fortunate enough that I don't need to. I can use any technology. I would not blame if I went into a club and they had a controller. I could still get on with the job and done and dusted. But I just find with DJing, there's so much moaning and just bitching about things that are just not important. If it's not that about the technology that people use, it's things like people complaining because they're resentful of the position that they're in and maybe others are in. It's not because you're not good, it's because they outworked you. It's that simple. You was outworked and that's about it. You need to just step your game up.
Do you think that DJing as like a profession, because it's a weird type of profession, because you have a few like very, very well known DJs like Mark Ronson and stuff like that. But do you feel like if the culture was more accommodating, they would be on par with rappers in terms of what they offer?
I definitely do, because the other thing is the reason why that's a good thing you said, Sam. More accommodating, because that's what I find. It's like there's no room for other DJs to come through, because if you're younger, or maybe not younger but new to it, you could be an older person that's just starting it. But if you're new to that DJ art form, it's almost like you're not a DJ as well, because you know, we was doing it 10 years ago or 15 years ago.
Right.
You new ones don't know what you're doing. It's the only... I just don't get it. Because anything else, you never get like lawyers saying, if there's a law firm and new lawyers come in, they're the new school lawyers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What about us? Or doctors, or you never get a group of doctors saying, look at these new doctors coming through trying to take over. Do you know what I mean? Or the emergency forces.
It's mad because the profession would be dead. If no new DJs came in, like in anything, in it, if no new podcasters emerged, if no new cameramen emerged, the profession would die out with the older ones.
That's what I'm saying. What do you? I honestly think, what do you want these younger, fresher people to do? Okay, they're new to it. Like I said, they might not have had the benefit of using certain technology. They can't step outside the club and go into a DeLorean, like Back to the Future, go back to the 70s and 80s, learn on turntables, then jump back in the DeLorean and come back to the club.
You know what?
Yeah, I've learned on 1210s now. I'm ready for the set.
And you know what? If the scene was more accommodating, with younger DJs or new DJs, you imparting what you know would continue. Do you understand?
Exactly what you want?
Exactly what you want, because when we learn when we're learning new things, we tend to imitate, you know, and so depending on who's teaching, you adopt kind of ideas. Now, it might get to a stage where you reach a level of proficiency where you're like, I actually think that this new way is better. I think I kind of underwent that when I was taught, when I did sociology. Sociology is a very liberal subject, but I was taught by a very left-leaning teacher, and so there was a great emphasis on things like Marxism and things like that. And so when I thought about things, I thought of things like almost like a Marxist would, that everything was based on oppression of people and this, that, and the other. And as I got older and my worldview got more textured, I became more balanced. So I'm not against capitalism, and I think that there's very good benefits that come from capitalism, although I understand that it has its issues, you know. So I think that's the role of a teacher. Sometimes is just to show you a little something, show you the way, and then, you know, it's up to that
to make up your own mind. Yeah. It's like I know obviously some people are not gonna like this, innit? But you know, Charlie Sloth doesn't exist without Tim Westwood. Like, it's just the way that it goes. Do you know what I'm saying?
Just swapped one out.
They don't exist.
I definitely do. Sorry.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. But one doesn't exist without the other, because what happened is Tim Westwood came through, loud like Tim Westwood. It's like Conor McGregor, Everybody knows Conor McGregor, innit? For what he did in the UFC and the fact that he was able to transcend into boxing, you know? And now you've got loads of people who take the Conor McGregor method, but Conor McGregor took his method from Floyd Mayweather. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, the loud, brash, talking type, like, I'm the best in it, like, you now have to prove. Muhammad Ali as well, and then he got it from Muhammad Ali. So you can see the trajectory as time goes on, and each person manipulated it because, you know, Muhammad Ali was black. You know, there's certain things that would black oppression and, you know, being part of the Nation of Islam and all the rest of it that would have formed Muhammad Ali. That someone like Conor McGregor, who jumped a generation, won't get, because the political times are completely different.
Very.
Do you know what I'm saying? And he couldn't join the Nation of Islam. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, not even if he tried. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he couldn't do it. So he can't totally take everything that Muhammad Ali has, can he? So he's formed his own way of managing it, and that's just life. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
even the way they speak, innit?
If you're gonna cut people short all the time and be like, oh yeah, but the old way is the 100% way, then how do we get people like Jeff Bezos? Do you get what I'm saying?
That's what I mean. Like,
who has taken current technology and old school engineering and merged the two and been like, okay, this would work in today's universe and has benefited from it financially. You just wouldn't get that. Imagine everyone wanted the old Samsung flip phones.
Innit? Come on, man.
It's wild, isn't it?
So I think things need to evolve and people need to accept it. And I think they do accept it. I think the problem is something else within them, deeper than that. Because not everyone is like that. I went to my first event of the year a couple of weeks ago. It was wicked, and it's funny because from doing the live streams, when I go to these events, I'm meeting people that I've only known on Instagram for the last 2 years.
Okay.
But we all know each other from Instagram. So when we see each other, it's like we've known each other for
a long
years.
time.
And it's the first time in real life that we've met. From promoters to other DJs to even ravers. I came out of the club and a guy said to me, "Oh my God, that's Vegas." And I was like, I felt a bit funny because and I wanted to apologize because I said to him, I wasn't being rude. It was just a bit, I'm not like, used to, you know what I mean?
Instagram famous.
It was weird, honestly. I thought, bloody hell, that was a bit weird, you know what I mean? But it was nice because it was nothing but love. You know, we networked and we just talked and there was no bad vibes. I can definitely say, you know, from my end and from no one else I was around. So it is nice, but it's just, it's not, I might make it sound like it's a lot of the time, and I probably shouldn't focus on it because it's not a lot of the time. But I just wish it was none of the time, you know what I mean? Because it's not necessary, really. Like, we've had a pandemic, and I think people in the DJ world, you know, and in other little art forms as well, have just, honestly, when I speak to them, they just wanted to use the opportunity to do something creative. They might have seen my live stream or someone else's live stream, or just always wanted to DJ but never had the time. Some of them are my age and have been DJing for years, but just never got into jobs where they enjoyed, had kids. But because they were in lockdown and because they, you know, kids were at home, they wanted to just develop a hobby. So they just ordered some decks if they could find them, because decks sold out like hotcakes during lockdown. But they just wanted to start DJing.
Something,
Honestly, Sammy and Don, I know loads of new DJs that literally that's how they started. They had an ear for music and they maybe DJed 20 years ago, but they thought, you know what, I'm just gonna get it going. So I like that because
same too.
Why would you not? We've had a difficult couple of years. Why would you not be happy that some people have not made it because of mental health issues and all sorts of things? You know what I mean? Not to put a downer on it, but
of course,
it's true.
Yeah.
So I feel like when I'm getting messages from people saying, "Oh, Daz, what decks do you use?" or "I want to get some because I want to start," I'm like, yeah, I'm rushing out to tell them. Not just telling them. I'm sending the link where I got it from. If the place is still in operation. And I'm happy for them because the kind of person that I am, I'll be honest with you, if I was ignorant and I said, DM me this rubbish, man, I've got things to do, and something bad happened, or maybe I heard that maybe that person got into depression, or I had some kind of negative effect by my response or lack of, that would hurt me, man. You know what I mean? It doesn't cost nothing to just give someone a bit of advice, like you said, Sammy, or, you know, a little bit of, you know, just intention for what they're doing. Not these people.
Never know, like, these people could go on to be like really beneficial people to the culture.
Listen,
like, you know,
I'm thinking about my pension. You're not gonna give me a job, you younger one. You know what I mean? I would be like David Rodigan. You know what I mean?
There's this guy called Jamie, innit? And he is the reason that I was able to get my wits around podcasting because. So Aaron, who was on the show last week, innit? He knew Jamie and he'd been on his podcast and he was like, he's got a really good setup and stuff like that. Maybe speak to him, innit? And he was like, yeah, I'll help you, innit? I don't appreciate that you got Aaron to say that you was the best podcast, innit? I don't appreciate that. But
that's a little bit of friendly rivalry.
And the thing is, there are people who would have been like, no, you think you're too good, innit? Figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to help you. He gave me the list. But then he said, like, but with the editing and stuff, that's something you're going to have to figure out, innit? And I think that's more than fair.
Yeah.
But you think about, like, what what we're trying to do, those first steps of actually getting all the kit together, that came from him. That is invaluable. You know what I mean? And so now when people rush out to tell me like, oh, what do you use on your podcast and stuff like that, I tell them because you never know what they're going to bring to the culture. You know, like it could be something really, really, really important. They could have a perspective that is very, very interesting, and they can change the lives. Well, I wouldn't say lives, but like the behavioral patterns of some people who feel like their behavioral patterns are problematic. And to deny them because, I don't know, envy and all of the, it doesn't make any sense to me, innit? Because I feel like you're depriving more than you know.
Yeah,
you know?
you're not helping.
Yeah.
And people have their so-called passion that they call it, like they have it like that. Like they don't want so protective over it, you know what I mean? I think to myself, then you wonder why you don't grow. But your mindset is me.
Yeah.
Let me hold on to it and not. Do you know I've had people? One thing I still kept, even though the music genre was different, but even with house, I still managed to connect with loads of producers because a lot of the producers are from London or the surrounding counties, so even better, you know what I mean? So some producers that I play are not that well. They're known in like underground house, but they're not known to the masses. But because a lot of DJs also know these producers, I remember one time a DJ played a track and I thought, oh my God, that DJ's playing the same track. Can you believe I commented on it saying, oh yeah, this producer, and they deleted the comment. The DJ whose page it was deleted it because he didn't want. I'm assuming he didn't want me because I put the name of the producer. He didn't want the name of the producer. Other DJs to think, oh, it's that producer. Let me reach out to him. That's the one. I'm glad Dad said that. Let me reach out to him now because I can get the tune as well or some other tunes like that. He deleted the comment.
That's wild.
I just thought. And you know me, like I was scrolling thinking, where's my comment gone? I'm thinking, how come everyone's comments there? Where's my one? I'm thinking, did I say anything offensive? And I thought it could only be because you didn't want no one else to know. And I just thought, like, I would never do something like that.
It's so bizarre. Like, I think going into the online space, you come into contact with a lot of different personalities, innit?
Yeah.
And there are some people who just they've taken a lot of time crafting their online persona and they want to be respected. And so they see everything as a challenge to that persona. You know what I mean? It's like, no, I don't want you to have the same perspective as me, or I don't want you to talk like this. I don't want you to say this. I say that. Why are you saying that? You know what I'm saying? Because it's so tied into this persona that they have. And it's, when you see it, it's just, it's odd, isn't it?
Like, people are weird. Like, I always say it, like, people are so weird. Like, some of the stuff that I see, like, even when I'm at work and I'm just like, you lot are just all complaining. Like, I just don't understand. Like, you know you will have to wake up tomorrow and give 7 hours again. Like, you don't want to make this a good, healthy environment. You just, like, you lot are cool, just everyday passer, making it worse for yourselves. I'm just like, wouldn't something tell you, that, like, if you just, like, tried to work harmoniously, like, you may actually enjoy the work that you do. Like, it's just weird to me.
But some people love passer as well.
Yeah, they do.
You know, some people like I've spoken to some women before, innit? And they were like, yeah, if there's no drama, I can't really get into it. I'm like, so you want bad things to happen in your relationship? And they're like, yeah, you know? And if it don't happen, I create it. You know?
Look at that.
Yeah. Then I'll just be like, oh, he be sitting there, everything's all calm, nice, innit? Who texting on that phone? All of a sudden, it's a thing.
That's wild.
And some people, I don't know, like they need. I'm a very steady person, innit?
Same.
My friend group is very, very similar to who it was when I was growing up. I've added a few people, but not a lot. You know, my marriage is. Obviously, it's at a different place, but it's with the same person. We've known each other for ages, and I'm chaos averse, innit? I know that I need to step into it every now and then, which is like starting a podcast, trying to put content out, things like that. I'm very aware that that's necessary for me to do because the chaos elicits growth a little bit. Yeah. And so I think as a person who's interested in growth, it's good to do that. But I don't like complete chaos. I don't like massive spontaneity. I don't know. I don't thrive in it. I don't think anyone can thrive in constant chaos. But I think you need healthy doses of it in order to boost your character.
You know what's crazy? Being around my younger brother has made me understand Sammy more, because he takes a weird part of me and he takes a weird part of Sammy in it. And for ages, I haven't really understood, like how nice and comfortable Sammy needs, likes to be in it.
Yeah.
But so with my little brother, he won't even try a food unless somebody's recommending it who he has absolute loyalty that you have made 9 out of 10 good decisions in it. If you recommend him a dish and he's not taking it in it. He won't even there's a lot of things in his life that have to be the way that he is. And it's funny because the other day, someone was like to me, it's mad with your younger brother because he doesn't force his agenda. He just lets you know very calmly that he won't be doing what you want him to do.
He's very, and I noticed that very, very early on, where he sets his boundaries and then everybody else works around it.
Yeah.
But I noticed that is an important trait to try and develop if you don't have it. Because otherwise you get pulled in a lot of different directions and it's hard to know what directions you're on.
See, that's me. I get pulled in a lot of directions, but I know I have a sticking focal point in it. And my sticking focal point is my family in it. So I'm able to go back to what grounds me and be like, okay, even though I'm going here, there and everywhere, picking up and meeting these new people and they have their views in it and they're like, oh, you're a photographer. And in their head, they're probably thinking, oh, yeah, all right, I could get Don to do some photos for me. In my head, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, cool. I'll do some photos for you, but I'd really like you to meet my cousin, who's into the same thing that you are. And maybe, some hub could come out of that. And later down the line, we could just be referring people in a wide, massive network rather than having to say, oh yeah, man needs to release a track. Oh, let's go to Charlie Sloth. And then Charlie Sloth is like, I don't know who you are. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, the building the network for the family and the people that I know is just bigger. And that's what the ultimate goal is, isn't it? So I don't mind people pulling me off in it. I think if I didn't have that, then it'd be a little bit different, innit? But yeah, and that's where me and Sammy would always clash. But then having my little brother, I actually see it now because I'm like, oh, actually, nah. He just works in a way that's more sensible for him, which is that he doesn't have to chase anybody. Because if you don't want to do what he does, he just says, all right, cool, innit? So I remember I was cooking a food and I was like to him, raw, do you want this, innit? And he was like, nah, to be honest, if that's what you're going to cook, innit, yeah, do your thing. And I was like, you're not going to eat? He's like, yeah, nah, not that. I was like, do you want me to cook you something else? He's like, nah, that's kind of long, I said, what are you going to do, bro? He said, no, I'm good in it. I got some biscuits here and, there's a Coke in the fridge in it. And you got bread in it. You got toast? I was like, yeah. Yeah, our man will be calm. And in my head, I'm thinking, hey, this is wild, fam. I should just divert to what, because I'm so used to being pulled in different directions. I'm like, no, I can eat what you want to eat, bro. Like, what do you want to eat in it, man? Cook that in it. He's like, no, do your thing in it. Eat your... And it's mad because he's not imposing on you, but you automatically think to yourself, bro, I should be doing what he does.
Yeah.
But he doesn't even want you to do that. And then I was like, oh, so Sammy's slightly different in it because if you're like, oh, I'll cook what you want in it, Sammy be like, that's a no-brainer, all right? We can both be fine and eat the same thing in it because we're both gonna be cool. And then I was like, oh, okay, so Sammy's just like, all right, if you're gonna do that, yeah, then why is he gonna complain in it? That's cool in it. But S is like, nah, he doesn't want you to do that. He's just willing to do his own thing. And then I'm like, oh, nah, I'll accommodate everybody. And I'm like, bro, we're just different people who've just grown up in different ways.
Do you know what it is, Don, as well? A lot of people, like Sammy said, there's more people that are like that kind of chaotic life that will want to pull you in different arenas. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when you meet someone or related to someone or maybe live with someone who has got that calm, I guess we're so not used to it. It's hard for us to adapt to it. You know what I mean? I'm a calm person. Sometimes it's like almost people want you to flip out. No, they don't provoke you.
Yeah.
But they say things like, oh, Dad, you're so calm. They just say at work all the time. I used to get it all the time. Dad, you never stress out. Like I do. I just don't stress out about that what you stress out about.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? So, but people have this kind of perception that we live in this very chaotic world, so we need to be chaotic as well. But it's not always the case. But it's just that when you go into work, say you got your job, 9 to 5 job, out of that percentage of people that you work with or work around, I'd say probably in any job we do, 78% of them are bloody raving lunatics. Whether it's DJing, whatever else, you could be working at McDonald's. And 5 of them people that flip the burgers are out of the 5, 4 of them are probably crazy. So to navigate around that is difficult. I find it sometimes. I have to almost. It's difficult though, but I have to we all do this. So it's not exclusive to me, but the way because I've got that calm personality, sometimes I feel like I have to be even triple calm just to make my day easier. Like,
you know what it is, yeah.
Yeah, facts. Yeah,
just to make my life easier. Like
I've had some people, like, so we'll take the work situation, innit? I've had some people where whenever they come in, they say good morning to you, innit?
Yeah.
And there's other people who do not say good morning to you, innit? They just walk past you, yeah? And I love both of those people. What I can't stand, is people who sometimes say hello to you and sometimes don't. I'm like, what kind of
what's that about?
Mad world are you living in?
Can't lie, that's me.
You know?
Can't lie, that's me. Do you know why? Yeah, because sometimes, I'm just so in my own zone. Like, sometimes I have to apologize to people because when I used to come into work, I come in with my headphones on and then, like, I'm walking up the stairs and then the bad boy tune hits and I'm like, what?
See, it's interesting.
And then I just bop through in it and then some people are waving at me and I don't even know. And then sometimes I'm just in a mood, innit? Like, it was stressful and hard enough for me to get to work, innit? And you're saying hello to me and you're not even one of my real G's, innit? Like, let's be honest, innit? Like, you're just like, oh, like, hello, innit? And I'm like, oh, bro, I'm just trying to get to my desk, innit? Like, it's hard enough with, like, trying to get, like, in the zone today. And especially where I'm like you and I like to be calm and I like to be... I'm like, you're gonna derail that, innit? Because I'm already vexed, innit? I'm already annoyed that, like, bro, like, and I don't sleep early, innit? So sometimes 4 o'clock, I'm still awake and then I had to be up at 6 o'clock. Coffee's in hand, and you're like, hi, and I'm like,
yeah, man. But bro, you need a bit of, like, my thing is, like, I'd like the so, like, I think it's a personality trait.
It is, yeah.
Because I like consistency. I know that you're going to do what you did today tomorrow, or something very similar, approximating it. And what I don't like is, like, chaos, because I don't know how to respond to you because I'm not trying to look like a fool saying good morning and you walk past me. I know to the person who says good morning every morning, I'm going to say good morning. To the person who doesn't say anything to me, I'm not going to say anything to you.
Yeah.
But you with your wiki wacky style, innit? Like, oh, yesterday, no tomorrow. Like,
you start malfunctioning.
Yeah, but how do you relate to somebody like that? It's very difficult.
I've been there and I hate it because I'm still there actually, because sometimes there's a guy at the gym actually, and he's probably a good example of this. He is very quite chatty, gym guy. But then, because of that, me being very chatty as well, as you know, when I see him, I automatically like, yeah, what's going on? He's like, oh, you're cool. I'm like, oh, but I thought... Only because, so basically, when the next day comes, and I'm so enthusiastic, not like I'm all over him, but because you've got that energy. Well, I assumed he had that energy, and I've got that energy. Yeah, I thought I could dive in with that. Yeah, what's going on, bro? Yeah. And he's like, no, yeah. And I'm like, so I'm embarrassed.
He's only doing it now. He's only doing it for the ladies in the spandex.
You know what I mean? But then the following day, he might be back to energy again. I think to myself, what steroids is he taking? Sorry if he sees it. But no, honestly, I'm thinking to myself, why are you so wiki wacky? And that's why I understand, Sammy. That's why sometimes I kind of like to, although I'm very sociable, but I do like to do my own thing as well. Only not because I'm definitely not antisocial, but sometimes it's just easier because I'm consistent as well, and I like consistency as well. So I also, maybe it's pressure in my head. I expect people to be. It's not the same, but at least similar, or at least understand it. You know what I mean? But when people got that flip floppy thing, I kind of feel a bit like
an extrovert, innit? And I think because of that, innit, that's why man's so imbalanced. Yeah, because like for me, sometimes as well, it's like I also get in my head a bit, innit, where it's like, what this person, like every time man comes to the gym and we're having like, because I can talk, like we all know this, innit? So I'm like, well, every time I come to the gym, like we're having like 45-minute conversation. That means you're not working out, innit? Like surely you don't want that, innit? Like you came to the gym to work out, innit? So then in my head's doing like Pythagoras theorem, and I'm like, all right, cool. Let's stay back today, innit? To give this person the opportunity to train, which is what they came to the gym for, innit? But then I can understand now, innit? Like speaking to both of you, that for like you guys, it's like, wait a minute, what? Like you were chatting yesterday, man. Like, and you're like, yo, but I'm just trying to be considerate. I'm trying to think about like, like if we're gonna talk all the time in the gym, none of us are getting hench. We're not getting healthy. We're just talking. You know what I'm saying?
Don, it's funny because what you said, because that's the other side as well. Sometimes you get people that can out talk you, and people say I talk, but boy, sometimes you get, it's like you're almost, a quiet moment happens. In my head, I'm thinking to myself, wow, they've actually out talked me for real. Like they should be doing live streams if that's the case. You know what I mean?
Stamina.
And there's some people where they can literally, you're done, and I get it. They literally can talk for the whole session that you're supposed to be at the gym, and I'm trying to hint. I'm like, yeah. So what are you doing now? Oh well, I've got to go work, so I came in early to do my little thing, then shower, trying to drop all the hints. Basically, I haven't got time to talk.
And you know what you know what the next question is? Oh, so how's work going? You
know that, and you're like, well, I probably won't find out because I'm probably gonna get sacked because I'm gonna be late for the youth. In my head, I'm thinking that. You know? But no, honestly, you do get the other side where people, the gym is still, I hate to sound old fashioned, but it's still a bit of a social club. And I tried, so I go in the mornings when I go to the gym. I find it's always been easier. It's just quieter. Yeah. And you've got more energy physically, mentally as well. So I always go in the morning. What I forgot was it's January. And I also, bruv, literally, it's been so, my gym is not massive. Anytime Fitness in Ladbroke Grove, it's not massive. But it's not small either. So like they've got a full range of like treadmills and benches for free, everything. But I go there sometimes early as 6 a.m, maybe between 6 and half 6. And it's ram. So I literally got to be in, do my thing, shower, work. But then when you see, sometimes I kind of walk in, I see the people that are going to chat. I'm like, ooh, let me just. Actually, I might go to the changing room and just. I'm already changed, but maybe I can check if I got my passport and maybe my towel. Because I'm almost scared to get into conversation because it is like that, Sammy. Like it starts off normal, you kind of cut it. Anyway, enjoy your workout. Oh, but how's work going? I swear to you, Sam, you're spot on. That I get that question. It's almost like they know you've got to keep it moving. So I don't know, but then again, I don't want to sound like I'm harsh or like a a-hole when I say these things. You know what I mean? Because again, some people just want to have that connection. Maybe they're not getting it anywhere else. Yeah, that's it. There's nothing in it. It's not because of any kind of untowardness or no agenda. But then I guess it's the lockdown as well, and I think it's always going to cut. We're the generation that have experienced. You know, in years to come, they're going to be talking about COVID, and we're going to be in that, it. Us children, our children's children are going to be the ones to talk about, like how they talk about other events in history. You know what I mean? So I guess when I look at it on a deeper level like that, I'm not harsh as like running away if people try to make conversation, but I because I think. In a way, I think to myself, they're the equivalent of those same people maybe that were sending me messages to say that, it was so good to have you on the live stream. I don't know, you know what I mean? So I do give them the time, but I just have to make it clear in a very diplomatic, that's the word I'm looking for.
You know what it is?
I've got to keep it moving.
There are some people that I can talk to for a really long time. But there's some people, and it's just like, it doesn't ever get going. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, how the kids? Yeah, great. Like, cool. So, and school. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's so clunky. And I know because I have quite a lot of conversation, obviously, from the show, but also outside, and you have so many more conversations that are smooth and
just organic.
And I think the podcast is quietly made me like a conversational snob, innit? Where it's kind of like, we don't have to continue this diatribe if we don't want to, you know? And so I don't know, like, and part of it is my personality as well, innit? I just have a hard time being motivated to do things that I don't want to do.
I was about to say, recently from podcasting, I've become less tolerant. So, like, I was always not very tolerant. Like, that's why I got into fights all the time, innit? Because, like, I just wasn't tolerant. Like, we're not going to talk this out, innit? It's long now, innit? Like, oh, yeah, I'm going to punch you. You're going to punch me. Oh, yeah, bro, if you keep talking, bro, I'll just bang you in your face. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's that, innit? Like, situation resolved.
It's like one of those villains, yeah, who, like, set the bomb for 10 minutes.
Yeah, like,
you know,
what are you doing for 10 minutes?
Like, let me explain my glorious plan.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
like,
and you're
what?
like,
Yeah.
okay,
With the people who stand in the road, like, like, bro, like, you could have got out the road in that time.
Yeah,
innit?
but that's different because that's response to fear.
No,
like,
but
sometimes.
you see, this is what I'm coming to, yeah.
Okay.
The road, like, not the roads, innit? Because I don't want to talk like I've been about it, innit? Because I haven't really been that about it, innit? But I've been in enough scenarios,
in
innit,
proximity
to learn certain things, innit? And it's made me really intolerable, yeah, of stuff like that, innit? I'm like, yeah, but I understand that you've got two issues here. You're either gonna be fearful and like paralyzed by fear, or you're gonna do what you should be doing, which is getting out the road, innit? And I understand that you're paralyzed by fear. It's the same in the gym, innit? I understand that you want to talk to me, innit? I understand we could have the greatest conversation, but right now is not the time, bro. Like, take my number or like do something, innit? So I'm just gonna be like, all right, you need to stop talking now, cause I need to do my workout, innit? And some people like will take that and be like,
never talking to Don ever again if that's that's his attitude.
Yeah, but I'm like, but if you can't understand where I'm coming from, yeah, because we both came to the gym, innit? Then like that's that, innit? We're just gonna call it a rap, innit?
Is it the same when it's a she with a jiggle butt?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. And
you know what? Yeah,
he knows with me. Yeah,
I just wanted to get a clip going, innit?
Yeah.
And, he ruined it. Still,
yeah, he knows. But this is your clip, innit? But this year, like, that's the thing for me. Yeah, I'm actually mad consistent. Like, don't get it twisted, innit? Like, I'm a guy, innit? Like, sometimes when I go into the gym, innit, and I see certain girls, I'm like, right, this is motivation for me to work harder, innit? Like, but most people don't ever see it like that. They're just watching the girl, like, oh my god, like, and in my head, I'm like, bro, you're so dumb, like. She's gonna bop out of the gym, yeah? She doesn't even know you exist. You're here dribbling. Based on, do you get what I'm saying? Based on fractions, innit? You've never spoken to the girls that you've been watching in gym, innit? You're not gonna start now, innit?
It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, like,
culture,
and
like.
exactly.
Yeah.
And now you're becoming weird, innit? You see someone like me, I'm like, oh, she looks nice. You know what? Her man's probably hench, innit? And doing his thing, innit? I want to be hench and do my thing. Not because I want to get her, but just because, like, yeah, like, you know, you're doing your thing.
You just walk up and you'd be like, what's going on?
I won't even talk to you. I just do my workout. Like, it's motivation for me. Like, me, myself.
What I'm saying is, if you're attracted to somebody, innit, all you can, like, my thing is, like, all you can do is shoot your shot.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I think that's the only thing you can do. Or you lock it, like, and say, like, I'm not gonna go there.
And then it's a wrap. Yeah. But you can't just sit there googly-eyed. Like, that's weird.
I saw a guy, actually. I was being nosy, I have to be honest. And my gym's got some weird characters, like most gyms.
Yeah.
But this guy is just, he shouts uncontrollably. I think I don't want to make light of it. I don't know if there's like mental health issues going on.
Right.
Or if he's just doing that. I don't think he's a mental health thing. I think he's trying to do that in that kind of intimidating way.
Is it like doing the weights?
And singing loud and all that kind of, you know what I mean? Rapping and all that.
Oh, yeah.
And
I got one of them in my gym. So.
They're everywhere.
But I hate to say it, but when you look at the guy, he's like not exactly Mr. Universe.
Intimidating.
You know what I mean? Like,
but that's why I feel. Maybe I don't
weird.
want to misdiagnose people in that, but you tend to see this behavior trait in people who like are unassuming, like they're like guys who are maybe shorter than their friends, innit?
Yes,
they're louder.
Yeah, he's that type of guy.
Yeah.
I can see, and not to cut you something, but what I noticed when you said about the creepiness with this guy, he was talking to a girl that I see this girl a lot in the gym. She's one of like, you know, you got your regulars in.
I've
never ever said 2 words to her, but maybe acknowledge her just out of politeness. Anyway, I could clearly see from my nosiness that she wanted to get as far the hell away from this guy as she could.
I'm not surprised.
I could detect that much. So they're on the treadmill, and he said something like, "Oh, where you been? I've missed you." And that was the indicator that I knew she's in her head. She kind of looked at me.
Stranger danger.
Yeah, she kind of looked at me like, and I looked at her, and then I looked at the machine I was using and thinking, yeah, I'm not involved in this one. But if you need me, I won't run just yet. But I could see that she was struggling with this one. He was, now, I don't know what the exchange has been previously, but you know, you just get a sense that she was creeped out by the comment. I've missed you. And then he said something else. Oh, you work out in the mornings now? And she goes, yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, something like that. And then she just kept it moving. But she was wiping her machine down, but almost not even looking at it. She was trying, she was like this, like, I think she forgot she's even wiping because she's trying to get away so quick. But
it's mad though, because I suppose when I'm in unusual circumstances, my first response is to kind of watch what people are doing. I just observe. So sometimes it's very strange to me that people don't get cues. It's like I can see when somebody's uncomfortable, and so you just don't ask the question, or you say, "Oh, sorry, that was a bit weird, isn't it?" And you keep things moving. But some people, they just seem, maybe they're so like, I don't know. It's almost like they want to impose whatever they want to happen, and they don't realize that it's a person. They're talking to a person with their own ideas about what they want from this situation and the interaction. And so it's very, very strange to me that you get people who are like, "So how are you?" And they're like, "I'm fine." It's like, great. Are you going to be here tomorrow? And you can see the person's really uncomfortable and they're just persisting in it. It's like, "Oh, yeah. I like your gym dress." You know, it's like, it's not a dress. You know what I mean, though. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, you keep persisting. And I don't know. It's very strange to me that people don't get that. Maybe this person wants to wrap this thing up.
Someone said something and they were like, if you're confused, and you're not really sure what's going on in it, there's a bit of inconsistency in it. It's not going well in it. Just back off and cut. They're like, if you know, then it's going well in it. If you don't know and you're confused and you're puzzled, that's it. That's it, innit? It's a wrap.
Well, my thing is, people tend to want to have conversations in it. With people who they want to have conversations with. So somebody who's giving you, I think, a good indicator, because there may be some people who watch this who are not very good in social situations. So if somebody is giving you one word answers, back off. You know, because they're obvious. That's a warning sign that they're not invested in the conversation the same way you're invested in. Because typically what happens, like, human beings bond over stories. And that's how people grow affection for one another. So I meet you, I say something like, "Hi, how do you know the person who's putting on this party?" That invites you to tell a story about how you know the person. And then hopefully what happens, they say, "So how do you know the person?" And they invite you to tell a story. And then somewhere along the conversation, you have you divulge something a bit more personal in it. Like, "Oh, my auntie was really sick, and during that time, that person was there for me, innit? And that's why I love that person like a brother." Then you walk away from the interaction, you're like, "Raw, I actually like that guy," because you had a
good exchange.
Yeah, an exchange of stories, innit?
Rapport.
Yeah, exactly. And when a person does not want to do that with you, they don't do that. They just say, "Oh, we know each other for a long time." Okay, cool.
That's it.
Have a nice night.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then some people feel they need to talk. So they just talking.
That's true as well.
And you almost want to say to them, which I have done in some cases, you don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
Some people, it might be easier for you to actually just not say anything.
Yeah.
Because now you just sound crazy. Because you're just talking. Like, I ramble on, don't get me wrong. But when I ramble on, I'm actually talking about stuff that I want to talk about. I'm not creating or thinking of what to say. I'm just talking too much. I hold my hands up, you know what I mean? But some people are literally, you can see their mind almost working overtime by the way it's coming out. When it's coming out like, and it's like there's no structure. And then they're talking about work, and then 2 seconds later, because you're almost looking at them like, your eyes go a bit glazed. Yeah. When your eyes go a bit glazed, like a bit watery, like your contact lens been in too long. No disrespect, but you can hear, and sometimes some people should need to remain nameless, you know what I mean, to protect the innocent. But there's some people that probably will watch this, and I've seen them, or I've been in an environment with them where they're not the most chattiest person, but in that environment they feel they need to be, because everyone's talking, or they think there is that rapport. They're not like that, but they feel they have to be. But because they're not like that, they're just saying anything. So it's sounding wild now, and they're talking about things that they really shouldn't be talking about even in public, Don and Sam. So I might have to just politely step in and say, "Oh yeah, I need to speak to you about," and then pull them to one side and say, "You know what? Just be a bit mindful of what you're saying."
That's a friend.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I'm not trying to block your potential friendships, but I think you're sounding a bit crazy, sounding a bit wild right now, and I think the people are too polite to tell you. But I'm just, if I can see it, then they probably can see it, and I know you know what I mean. So yeah, just be a bit mindful, because you're talking, but you're just saying. I'm listening, thinking to myself, bro, you're sounding like a madman right now. Like, I don't want you to look like that, because you know
I know you're not like that.
Yeah. And I don't want the people to be the perception of you. So sometimes it's better to like, if I honestly, people think I talk a lot. It's not that I talk a lot. Sometimes I just talk because the person I'm around is not talking enough. So I feel like, rather than us looking like two dummies, let me just try and fill the space. You know what I mean? In whatever scenario it could be. But at the same time, there's been to places where I'm silent and people say to me, "Oh, Dad, you're all right," because they're not used to me being so quiet. I'm totally fine. It's just that I'm not going to force conversation. And especially when you get some people who, I remember I was at a party one time, and this guy, you get those people that try to be funny. Like, they find out what you do and they try to throw you a curveball. Yeah. And I was at a party, and hey, the guy to me, he said, he knew that I was a music person. And he said something to me like, "Oh, so Daz, what's your favorite Rolling Stones track?" That's what he said to me. That was his introduction to Daz. What's your favorite Rolling Stones track? I wasn't always going to swear then, but brother, you can see I ain't no Rolling Stones fan. You know that I'm not. But for some reason, he felt if he was going to trick me up. But what he didn't know is that I know music. So I responded with, "Oh, I quite like Jumping Jack Flash, actually." He went, "Oh.
Yeah, you see, yeah.
Let's go and get another Shandy Bass from the bar." But I thought to myself, why? My point is, I guess, I keep it organic, man. If I ain't got nothing to say, I won't say nothing. Most of the time I've got something, and even if I have got something to say, I might not even say it. Because you know how some people, like you said, Don and Sam, some people, I don't know, they like chaos, and it could be one little small, what I consider small, just triggers off some little craziness in their mind that they've got to now be this person that they feel they have to be because I've said something. So, and it goes back to, you know, when we were talking off camera, Sam, I was saying, we were talking about like events and stuff and networking. And I was saying, like, I didn't elaborate, but I was very much the kind of person that when I was on radio particularly, I'd always get invited to these networking events and listening parties. And I would go to them at the beginning days, but then I thought, what am I even doing here? I'm not, I just want to play music, man. I don't want to drink cocktails and schmooze and I'm going to take my number. You ain't going to ring me. Like, you know what I mean? So I've kind of started not going, and then some of the radio management was saying, "Oh, you never go to this, you never go to that," and I was like, "Yeah, because I just keep it real, man. I'm not in it for the glamour and the glitz. You know what I mean? If I was, I'd have pictures of me all over Instagram. Yeah. I don't mind if you think Daz Vegas is a short, 4-foot white guy with blonde hair and blue eyes. As long as you know the brand, That's all I care
and
about.
You say he plays good music.
Yeah. Bit of recognition. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm going on a tangent. I digress. But I think the pandemic has made people, I think, approach things hopefully a bit differently. Like, because when I do have conversations with people who equally were not really visible on the socials, they've become a bit more. I guess they had a certain idea of the internet and Instagram in particular. They thought it was a certain way, but they had an opportunity. Some people like design T-shirts and clothes, and they've had it. I see people that I know all my life that are the most probably hardcore people against the internet, doing Instagram lives, being interviewed about their clothing brands and stuff. And I think, oh my God, you know what I mean? So I think conversations have probably, I wouldn't say increased, because conversations existed before the beginning of time, you know what I mean, from the beginning of time. But I think now the pandemic has allowed us to kind of maybe approach even that very beginning of time simplistic thing in a different way, you know what I mean? And as things have maybe opened up, it's become easier. Because like I said, when I went to this club only a couple of weeks ago, man, I was talking and dancing with some people like I'd known them for years. It was so nice because I'm not used to that. It was probably the most comfortable I've been. This sounds probably really contradictory, but it's probably the most comfortable I've been in a club, because for the first time I was going to a club where I didn't know nobody and I never met nobody. But I'm used to going to clubs before the pandemic where you more or less know everyone, all the DJs, the promoter you definitely know, and you might even know some of the ravers there. But again, it's a very kind of superficial thing. It's not, you know what I mean? So when I went to this club and I didn't know nobody, to have like, oh my God, Daz, yeah. And just not even like, oh, your live stream was good. Just straight into it. Like how we know each other for years. Straight into it. Oh, Daz, I produced this tune last week, man. What'd you think of it? Like, you know, like they proper know me. And I just thought, this is amazing. Like, and then the promoter of the party messaged me and afterwards, like the next few days, and said, oh, Daz, thanks for coming down. I saw you networking, and I was thinking I probably weren't networking. I probably was just chatting like I
enjoying human company. Yeah,
you know what I mean. But so I think, I don't know. My probably my outlook has changed without me even knowing it. Just generally, not DJing aside, just the way I kind of approach. Like even seeing like yourselves today has been. I was like excited about it. Not that I wouldn't be ordinarily, but I was walking down the road and I thought, boy, when I think about it, like I said to you, Sammy, when I hit the road, it literally had been like I'd been here like the time before was like a month ago. Or maybe a couple months at that. Walking down the road and I'm like, yeah, I can't wait. You know, getting butterflies. Thinking, I ain't seen Sam. When I think about it, I haven't actually seen Sam and Don in years. Like literally, it's been a good couple years now.
Yeah.
And knowing that you're walking into the growth, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Like the growth is there. It's just nice. I know I'm a bit biased. Obviously, we've got an advantage because we know each other. So
exactly,
we would talk like this at work or if we had the time at work. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's nice. I think, and I like your platform allows people like myself who people might not see, because this is probably the longest time people, even though I've met some new people, but this is probably the longest time people have seen me in the media.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful because things like this allows creatives and people that have an art to actually maybe be the first point for some new people that are exposed to me to see me actually talk properly. Do you know what I mean?
And so that's what we wanted. Like, I think there's been friends who've been on this show and we've known it for a really long time, and then they've divulged something that we've never known about them, you know, and that's the great thing about.
I better be careful. Sorry, Sam.
You know, but that's the wonderful thing about conversation and having time to sit down and talk with people, especially when you really admire like what they do. Like I really admire what you do.
I'm grateful, man, and likewise, man, because I've seen the beginning stages, and we spoke about it when I came last. So
that's
to see it manifest is honestly for me like It's
Listen,
mind
I
blowing.
can't even wait till the stage where
Proud
man has
smile.
to. Yeah.
Sorry, Sam. I can't use one. Sorry, Sam.
Yeah, I can't even wait till the stage where I get a budget where I could do like stuff like cookouts. Like I'm a very like I grew up watching like the Fridays and a lot of American culture, and I think it would be good to just like barbecue or grill up or jerk up and then shout the peoples, just have like proper time where it's not necessarily podcasting. Yeah, you can use some parts for media, but it's actually just vibes. Like, and people who know me can then be like, yeah, I saw you on the episode. Oh, so your dad's the DJ. Oh, okay, like, what are you doing now? Like, what's going on in it? And it's not that awkward, like, trying to get out of here, innit? You could grab a plate of food, innit? Music's playing, innit? And you could just chill, innit? Like, I can't wait to, like, start doing stuff like that. So, for me, like, interaction has always been, like, key. I've always wanted to bring people together. I've always wanted to, like, be a hub for that, innit?
Yeah.
And it's important to me, like, it's where people, like, I feel like the Instagram thing and the socials and that, it's working the way that it should. Obviously, you get weird people, as we discussed, innit? But I think what really makes that thing special is, as you said, when it comes to life, like, when you've been speaking to people and kind of like what Aaron was saying, innit? When he chose his partner that he's with, and they made a conscious decision not to meet each other during the lockdown period, just to get to know each other. Do you know what I'm saying? And you spend so much time getting to know people online, and then it's like you see the manifestation of them, and it's just good vibes in a nice place, in a place where you can just vibe, and it's, that's me in it. That's
why not, man?
Who I am.
Why not?
So what's next, Daz?
What's next? Ooh, well, you know what, Sammy? I don't think I've. No, I definitely haven't announced this.
Oh, breaking news.
But as well as doing the live streams and stuff, I was producing as well. I started. Well,
okay.
I was producing before, but I wasn't really.
You know who you're talking to right now?
I know,
don't
get started.
I know, right? You know what I mean? But I really started taking it because I had the time. I was taking it more seriously. So I was doing little bits and pieces for years and years. But I was one of those people who would never finish nothing. And I think, if I'm honest, I didn't know how to use Logic properly, which is not. It's a bit of an excuse because you should learn. That's the whole point. But I don't think I really applied the time to it. But I always wanted to make music. My friend said to me, Doug, years ago, he said, Daz, most DJs are producers. How have you been DJing for years and not made nothing? Like, I goes, you know what? I can't even argue with you. You're right. I don't know why I haven't. So when I had the opportunity, I was just going on YouTube, getting tutorials, learning how to use Logic, speaking to people again, reaching out to producers that I knew and asking them for tips, and they were really helpful. So I started making music. I had like stuff at home for years, MIDI keyboard, this, that, just picking up dust. So I thought, I've got time, let me just start doing some stuff. So I made up quite a few bits, like finished, not mastered and mixed yet.
Right.
But ready to play. But I think I'm a bit, if I'm honest with you, I'm a bit scared because I've never done anything like this. Like, even announcing it publicly is a bit mad because a few people know that but it's literally a handful of people, maybe 2 or 3, and they haven't even heard nothing yet. Okay, even though they know I've had similar conversation with them, but they haven't heard nothing, and they're producers themselves that are quite successful, especially with like underground house. So that's probably my next thing. I'm still gonna keep the DJing going because I feel like it kind of rejuvenated my passion for it.
Okay.
So I'm still going to keep that going. And the amount of opportunities that I got off the back of my live streams is crazy. Nearly everywhere that I got booked was off the back of someone seeing my live stream.
Oh, man, that's crazy. Yeah, sick.
And also, as well as like, playing house, some people that knew me beforehand say, oh, Dad, you don't play R&B hip-hop. I still play R&B and hip-hop as well.
Yeah.
Over Christmas, I was playing R&B hip-hop nearly every Friday at a club in West London. But I just don't, like I said, I put things out there. But I'm not one to say like, I'm doing this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like the work to speak for itself. So if I feel I've got something to show, I show it. Like I said, I've been making music for the last 2 years, but there's nothing out there on my Instagram.
Yeah, that's
because I don't want to sound like I'm doing it and there's nothing to show for it. You know what I mean? Which can easily happen.
Yeah, definitely.
I just want to put it on there. Like, even with my live streams, when I had already booked the place to do the final one before I had announced it. But then I announced it knowing it was coming.
Yeah. Wow.
So that but had I not, I wouldn't have announced it. I would have
Mm.
just probably kept doing it at home. But when I was so confident, I thought, yeah, this place is booked. I've got everything in place. All I got to do is show up. I've spoken to the guy. The set is looking wicked. He was sending me images and stills.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, oh my day, this is looking overwhelming. So, do you know what I mean? So, when things are like that, that's when I like to announce things. But I'm giving you exclusive because this is definitely the first time I've ever publicly said I've produced stuff. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, you're done out here. Sam gonna start messaging you, like, bro.
but that's the next step, Sammy, man.
Okay.
In terms of the music, that's the next step. And I would also like to put on some events. I think now, you know, not fingers crossed, things are fully open. I hope. You know what I mean? But I've had loads of conversations with other DJs and promoters as well about still do, because a lot of people, one thing I get weekly is, Daz, you should do your live streams again. That's the one question I get, that more or less every week I get someone messaging me saying, wait, or if I see someone in the street, when are you going to do your live stream?
Yeah.
You know, which is really complimentary. I really like that because honestly, there was loads of live streams going on.
Yeah.
And they were amazing, you know what I mean? So, but it's nice that I'm in that conversation that
Yeah,
people
exactly.
have,
Yeah.
you know, little old me. So it's nice. And I always said I'm not locking it off forever. It will be like I did one I think just before the end of the year, like on a random one, just from home, nothing, no glamour, no glitz, just from home with the backing screen and all that kind of glamour and glitz. So I never said I would ever stop doing them, but as in terms of doing them weekly, because
it's a lot, innit?
It's a lot, you know.
It is a lot.
I might have to just do like big occasions.
I thought maybe big occasions, different events, because the thing is, I was doing them when nothing else was open. But now things are open. We'll have a little Friday night out or something. If I wanted to do, you know what I mean? I want to have a little Friday night out or something. But yeah, that's probably, I think production is probably the main thing on the cards, and DJing obviously is there. You know?
And where can people find you, Daz?
Yeah, so all my socials, Instagram at Daz Vegas DJ. And then I've got obviously my SoundCloud. I must promote that because that's where you can hear me. If you want to hear what I do, what I've been doing. Again, SoundCloud at Daz Vegas DJ. Mixcloud is the same. Yeah, man, that's where you can find. I've got a YouTube channel. I've only got one video on it, which incidentally is the last live stream.
Okay.
But if you always talk about live stream, I think that's a good example of that summed up the year of doing them because visually, honestly, man, I love the way it looks. You know, I don't usually big up myself. You know what I mean? In that way,
you should.
But I'm like, yeah, damn, I'm glad I did it like this. If you only ever see one live stream of me, that's the one I want to see. So that's on YouTube.
Okay.
My Dad's Vegas YouTube channel. But yeah, apart from that, I think. Yeah, well, I know that's the only thing on there. I'm saying apart from that, like as if there's 20, it's only that on there. Don't get excited, people. It's only that on there. But it's worth a watch if you want to see what I was doing throughout lockdown.
Okay,
I mean?
cool.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. If you've listened, subscribe, innit? We need subscribers. We're trying to hit 500. So keep it coming. My name's Sammy.
My name is Don.
And we've been a family.
Bow.